Good morning, students. I am Vikram Singh Rathod, Assistant Professor at Center for E-Governance. Today I am representing the object-oriented programming concepts in Python. First of all, if we understand about the object-oriented programming classes and objects. In this my e-lecture, I am defining the objects about the OOPS concept regarding Python. We all know that the concepts of the OOPS are objects, classes, encapsulation, data handling, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. You know about the advantage of the OOPS over earlier programming methodologies. An object-oriented programming OOP is a programming language model which is organized around objects rather than action and data rather than logic. Before the introduction of the object-oriented programming paradigm, a program was viewed as a logical procedure that takes input data, process it and produce output. But in case of OOPS, a problem is viewed in terms of objects rather than procedure. For doing it, now the question arises, what is an object? So I am defining the object. An object can be anything that we can notice around us. It can be a person described by a name, address, date of birth, etc., his typing speeds, or the characteristics of a person's are the values, those are belongs to a particular objects. And then the second example, a cup described by its size, color, price, etc. A car is also an object described by model, color, engine, etc., its mileage, speeds, and so on. Many objects are in the real world you can create using as an object in object-oriented programming. In fact, it can be an identifiable entity. The whole idea behind an object-oriented model is to make programming closer to the real world, thereby making it a very natural way of programming. The core of pure object-oriented programming is to combine into a single unit both data and function or methods that operate on the data. And I am also introduce some languages also. Simula was the first object-oriented programming language. Then after Java, Python, C++, Visual Basic, .NET and Ruby are the most popular object-oriented programming languages today. Basic concepts of the object-oriented programming is related to OOPS as object, class, encapsulation, abstraction, data handling, polymorphism, inheritance. Those are defined in our next lectures. I am defining with examples. And first of all, I am defining the first object of the object-oriented programming concept is object. An object is the basic key concept of the object-oriented programming. As mentioned before, it can be anything around us, a person, a place, an activity, or any other identifiable entity. Every object is characterized by its some values. Those are defined such as identity. This is the name that identifies an object. For example, a student is the name given to anybody who is pursuing a course, or an iPhone is a mobile phone that has been launched by Apple Incorporation as defined as an identity. And then after, the properties of objects are the features or attributes of the objects. And the features or objects are also known as the characteristics of the object. For example, a student will have his name, his class, his age, date of birth as his attributes or properties. A mobile phone has properties such like model, color, price as its properties. Then after, the next concept behind the object is behavior. The behavior of an object signifying what all functions can object can perform. For example, a student can pass or fail the examination. A mobile phone can click and store photographs, behave like a camera. Is the behavior of the objects. Then after I am defining some briefly in objects, you can notice that so an object clearly defines an entity in terms of its properties and behavior. Consider an example of an object, Windows mobile phone. This phone has certain properties and certain functions which are different from any other mobile phone. Say an Android phone, both are mobile phones and so possess common features that every mobile phone should have, but yet they have their own properties and behavior. The data of a particular object can be accessed by functions associated with that object only. The functions of an object cannot access the data to another object. Students, I am defining the next lecture on classes. Then after I am creating the programs using the object or classes methods using functions in our next e-lectures. You can see. Thanks students. Our official channel CEGJPR is contain many technologies about in computer science. You can easily access and gain the knowledge. Thanks students.